This mom performed an act of bravery that's being hailed across America. She shielded her little boy from a vicious attack by two dogs on the front porch of her home. The horror started when the dogs went after the 2-year-old in the front yard. Surveillance video shows that mom grabbing her son and running to the front door, but she can't find her keys. She's cornered. For 5 terrible minutes, she risks it all shielding her son. Look at the terror on her face. She covers him with her own body. She even holds the child aloft to keep him away from the animals. A neighbor with a stick tries to rescue the mom and her son, but nothing works. The horror only ends when the mom finally gets the front door open.
Hi everyone, Jesse here with Canine Perspective, and we're back with another dog attack review video. Decided to do this one a bit differently. As you see, I'm here at my computer as opposed to just standing in front of a green screen, just because this is a long video. This mother was protecting her child by an attack from 2 off-leash dogs. I'm not sure if they're actually her own dogs. It's kind of hard to tell where they're coming from. It looks like they're coming out of her front door just from the camera view, but they could also just have come from somebody else's yard and just happened to be coming around that way, as I believe it looks like an open entry there. So I'm going to go ahead and, of course, review the video. I was able to find the long form version. What you saw was just clips that I saw from Inside Edition, YouTube video where they just compiled all like the bad stuff, so to speak. Whereas through some digging, I actually found the original raw video, which is about 6 minutes long. The attack doesn't last the full 6 minutes, but it does last a good chunk of the video. And I figured because there was so much going on, it would be a lot easier just to assess it while I'm playing the video in the background for you guys. Okay, so I'm essentially reviewing it as you're watching it, which I've done before, just because it is such a long video, and there is an obvious answer in terms of how to protect ourselves from this kind of situation, which I'll point out as well. It would have, I believe, definitely saved the mother and her child a lot of harm and trauma. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play this video. So it's a nice day. It looks like we're outside. Child's playing. See, these dogs come out here, right? So I'm going to pause it. The dogs come out. Child's hiding behind a tree. So I don't know if this is their own dogs or if this was their neighbor's dogs, but the woman doesn't seem startled, so she does look like she's familiar with the dogs. And then it looks like the child was playing hide and seek, so what started out as a game, or what I think started out as a game, we have some curiosity from the black dog to the child, right? Mom is able to redirect the dogs away. They're in a playful state. Now here, the child starts to come out towards the mom, and then the black dog sees it and runs towards it, again still playful, but the child gets spooked and then turns to run away. The reason why this is important is because this is what triggers prey drive. Okay, so what starts out as playful becomes an attack because the dog's prey drive is turned on, because everyone is doing the wrong thing. Okay, again, I'm not here to bash anybody, I'm here to educate everybody, but that's the first thing that I see is the dog turns around to chase the kid. Kid gets scared, turns away. The dog sees fear, flight, and then it can turn on prey drive or turn on kind of more intense curiosity. Okay. So yeah, we get a lot of aggressive sniffing, child kind of covering its head, kind of cowering away, trying to run here, still playful. But you can see the way the child's holding itself, how it's kind of just trying to shield itself. The child is perceiving threat or is uncomfortable, and the dog's in a playful state, but all of this starts to escalate, okay? So there's a little bit of an air snap there, probably still playful. Mom comes out, and I like her energy. She comes out, she's going to her child, she's assertive, okay? But now the kid's got the attention of the other dog, the brown dog. So now we got 2 fairly large dogs in comparison to the child and even the adult woman. And it can be overwhelming, right? We want to think a child's psychology, like they're not going to be that confident in confronting a threat like this, okay? Or what they perceive to be a threat. Sorry. Knocks the child down, right? Still sniffing. And then this here is right, things really start to escalate. Is the mom goes to pick up the child. The dogs are still circling, right? Now you're starting to see where they're going into that kind of prey mode here. And when she picks him up, she turns him. So in protection training or in bite work, there's a thing called a flirt pole. Okay, and it's a long stick with the long rope, and on the end of the rope there's either like a squirrel hide, it's a fake squirrel, or like some leather straps, and they turn and they circle it to turn on prey drive, to give the dog something to chase. And this is exactly what the woman is doing. She picks up her child and turns them, and all of a sudden you see the dog start to go. Okay, and so now she creates a frustration because the dogs are wanting to engage with the child, and she's removing the child, and I understand, to protect. But by doing this, she actually escalates the situation. Okay, so what I would have done differently here is on the approach, hey, right, start shouting, projecting energy, trying to spook the dogs away from the child. Okay, whether it's her own dogs or her neighbor's dogs, or projecting that assertive energy to push them away. Okay, and I know people may think, oh, that's crazy. No, this is the same stuff that Cesar Millan uses. This is the stuff that I recommend to my clients. I actually had a client the other day shoot me a comment on Facebook because I posted one of these videos, and she goes, it works, and I'll even put a screenshot of that right now. So Marianne and her dog Pilsen, unfortunately, had been charged by off-leash dogs many times prior to training with me. And then when she trained with me, she's like, what do I do in these situations? And I said, shout, yell, stomp, be big, scare them away, kick them if you have to, protect yourself, protect your dog. And unfortunately, she's continued to have more off-leash instances. But as you can see by her comment, it works. Okay, so here, turn around. The moment I see something I don't like, I'm already addressing the dog. I liked her energy. She was walking assertively. She was walking calmly, but unfortunately she wasn't projecting anything. She just goes for the child, and instead of getting the dogs away, that's one thing. We would have gotten the dogs away there, turning off their prey drive or preventing the prey drive from escalating. Okay, that would have been the first thing. So this unfortunate incident is the outcome of an escalation of things, all because of the wrong decisions, the wrong behaviors. Okay, and I understand, she didn't know any better, but this is why I do these videos, is to help educate people, so when they find themselves in these situations, they make the correct decision and actually go to confront the threat as opposed to avoid the threat. Okay, because dogs are primal creatures, they're not like humans. So here she could have potentially avoided all of this escalation by projecting and shouting the dogs away, putting that threat out. Okay, instead she goes for the avoidant retreat approach, which is, I'm gonna pick up my child so that they can't get to him, but that just agitates the dogs more. Okay, so here they go, they're starting to pursue. She's trying to now push them away softly right here, and she has flip-flops, so you can only do so much, right? But here I start kicking the dogs, get away from my kid. Again, this should have all been done prior to picking up or addressing the child. You're addressing the threat first, then you address the child. Okay, so here she's trying to move away. They're continuing to pursue, right? And she continues to twist. That black one is the one that's more engaged here. Now she's shuffling. And I just want to point out here, guys, even if she hadn't projected to scare the dogs away, okay, and I understand that because most people don't think to confront the threat. Most people's instinct is flight. Freeze or flight is a person's first instinct. Is the immediate exit is the bed of that truck. Right behind her, okay? And it sucks because it's like the most obvious thing here, aside from what I'm teaching, right? Because the average dog owner wouldn't think that. But here, the bed of that truck was an immediate exit for her child and for herself. So even in that pursuit right there, where she didn't know what to do, turn around, that bed of the truck is 2 to 3 feet away. I can throw my kid in, I can jump in after them. The dogs, even if they try to jump in the truck, because they're trying to climb up, you can easily just kick them and knock them off. Okay, that would have been, in this case, even if you know nothing, the safest approach would have been to jump into the bed of the truck. In other situations, if there's a vehicle nearby, running and climbing on top of the vehicle, if the dog's too large for you to confront, or if you're not wanting to confront, this is also an option. You can jump on a vehicle. Okay, but right here, it's unfortunate, but she had a very clear exit. Most likely due to the panic. She wasn't thinking clearly. She just tried to get back in the house. Okay. So still trying to keep the dogs away, and now she's running away. So now we're in flight mode, right? So now the dogs are turned on. They got her cornered now. There's nowhere for her to go. And now they're actively biting. And I do commend her because she's very brave. She's obviously protecting her child. I mean, it's not easy for me to watch. I don't like to see this, but in order for me to provide info for you guys. So I think the best bet here, potentially, is tucking your child in the corner, right? So you get the wall, tuck your child in the corner, and then just hold. Okay, you're gonna take bites because you've already turned them on. They already know they got you cornered, right? But I think the best approach here is to to protect the child. Tuck in the corner. You're gonna take bites. Don't scream. Don't panic. Don't yell. And I know that's very difficult. You're like, what do you mean? Don't scream, don't yell, right? Is the more you scream, you sound like prey. Okay, you sound like prey. You're turning them on. You're keeping them on, right? That for me here potentially, again, it's hard to say because once you've gone into fear flight mode, the dogs know they've won. They already know they got you. Okay. If the concern is protect the child and try to limit how much harm comes to the child, here you can see they're able to get to the kid a couple of times, and I think this child ended up needing reconstructive surgery. It wasn't as bad as it could have been, but definitely the kid had some bites in the face and stuff. She's open because she's trying to cover the child herself, but we have the two walls and the kid's tucked in the corner, and I have the kid up, and I'm body blocking, so now I'm the third wall essentially, creating a triangle around the child, right? A triangle. We got the walls and my body here is I'm protecting. Is when you're screaming, when you're shouting, when you're moving a lot, you're turning them on and you're keeping them on. You're making it a game now, okay? And that's what keeps it enticing for the dogs as they go. This is fun, right? And it's not because they're having a good time attacking the person. Is you've now turned on primal instinct. You've now turned on prey drive. Okay. When I got bit here, this bite here, I didn't scream. I didn't yell. I remained calm and addressed the situation. I didn't move a lot. Okay. And that's how I was able to get the dog to de-escalate and remove them because I didn't yell. I didn't panic. I didn't freak out. So even though the dog here was panicked, if we're talking about prey drive, you're not giving them anything to work with. Okay, you're not turning them on by screaming and yelling and trying to run away and stuff. This is why confrontation is always best, because dogs, they don't want a difficult target. Okay, they don't want that. They want an easy target. So the lady unfortunately was making a bunch of soft responses, trying to be avoidant instead of aggressing or addressing the dogs, or aggressing towards them, telling them I'm a threat. You want to keep back from my child. Instead, she went the flight response, and this is why things escalate so much, okay? So this is going to continue, I believe, for another minute here. It sounds like she's shouting towards somebody. She took a bite there. Kid gets bit here. Again, I understand, and she's doing the best she can in this situation, okay? Again, unfortunately, easiest exit, easiest approach to this would have been just jump into the back of the truck there, okay? So it looks like one dog's got a collar on. So looking at this, if the black dog does have a collar on, okay, the black dog is actually the one leading this this attack. If you watch, it's the one. It was the first one to the child, right? The first one to pursue when she picked up. Again, the one that's really in there. The brown dog is just following the leader. So the brown dog is the follower. So potentially, if the black dog's got a collar on, and this is a gamble, okay? Trying to shield the child, grabbing the black dog's collar, and then twisting again to choke them out, okay? Now that you've addressed the leader, the follower most likely will not engage, okay? The follower is going to stand back and go, what are you doing, okay? This is why when we work with homes, in homes that have a multi-dog household, And when someone knocks at the door, they all start to bark. There's always the first one to bark, the loudest one to bark, and the first one to the door, right? And it's always going to be the same dog. Um, is I'll tell the owner, address that one first, and then the others will be easier to address because that is the one that's leading the interaction. Okay, so in this case, from what I can see, the black dog is leading the interaction. So if you grab that collar again, you twist it, you hold, choke them out, you just hold it, hold it, hold it until they pass out or they faint and they fall on the ground, you drop the collar, go in the house, okay? Is that brown dog most likely would have stopped or would have de-escalated because the black dog's the one bringing the brown dog up. Then once you address the black dog, go for the brown dog. Okay, and again, you're protecting your own life and you're protecting your child's life. I would not feel bad if I had killed the black dog by choking him out. Okay, my job as a parent is to protect my child and to protect myself. My child comes first, and if I have to eliminate that threat by doing so, then I do so. Okay, but looking here, it looks like she grabbed the collar to try to keep the dog away. That's where you go to choke him out. Okay, again, I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like she grabbed something. Right. So if you look at the brown dog's really just like kind of barking. I think the brown dog does do a couple of bites, but it's really the black dog that's the bigger threat. Yep, there is a collar on the black dog. So the black dog grabs her hair. It really wants to get to her child. So now she's creating frustration by acting as a barrier. Okay. Let's see here. Now, this is where the neighbor comes. There she is. And the neighbor is useless. The neighbor does nothing. Again, she comes in very cautiously, right? Doing this, like, lady, these dogs are attacking this woman and her child. Like, fucking come in and do something. Like, mean it. She comes in very soft. She comes in with the stick, too. She comes in with the weapon and, like, doesn't even use it. Useless. I would have just taken that stick from her hand and started beating the dogs. Right? So she's doing nothing here. She grabs the black dog, and then the black dog ends up escaping her. Right? So she grabs it by, like, 2 fingers. Maybe she's afraid of being bit, but here, see, and then again, like, she's completely useless. She does not know what to do. You got a stick. So here, the brown dog corners her right away. So now the dogs go, you're nobody. You're not a threat. You're nobody. You're trying to be a threat. You don't mean it, right? Because right when, and the brown dog is the follower. The brown dog's the one who goes, who are you? And she goes, nobody. Useless. Useless. Now the kid, unfortunately, is right there in their they can get to the child now. The child's exposed. Dog goes for her head again, her hair. Right, a lot of franticness, I'm sure, a lot of screaming, just turning everything on. Kid's probably screaming as well. It looks like the black dog, yeah, got the kid somehow. Yep, the jump, more frustration. So right there, boom, boom, start hitting the dogs. You got a stick in your hand. See, now you're starting to see more frustration. I don't know if you saw the woman shaking because the black dog got her, and it's just going because everything they're doing here is just escalating and turning things on. I think at some point the woman just gives up. Not here, because here she's clearly still covering, but as you can see, the child is still exposed. Like, they can come for the hind legs. Looks like somebody redirected the brown dog. Black dog still going for the mom. Maybe got the kid here. It's hard to tell. No, it's got the shirt. Looks like it's got her shirt. So this is why you're just, boom, you're just swinging, you know, like at this point, right? Because now we're too far along. Like, your best bet here is, instead of trying to avoid and freeze, is you just come at them with what you got. I mean, she's got flip-flops on, so unfortunately your feet might get bit when you're trying to kick them. You just start like, you're right there, just start punching them. And then, you know, we're aiming for this soft spot here. Black dog gets her arm and just starts to drag her, right? She kudos to her, because you saw her get dragged, and right away she like jujitsu'd right on top of the child. Like, again, very brave mother. Bad decisions here, unfortunately. I get very frustrated when I see this, just because I'm looking at it and I'm going, these are just making things so much worse. So here, if we're in a situation where we're cornered and it's like, you know, you've seen, like, I've done other dog attack videos where they're punching the dogs and everything like that. In this case, if the dog is coming towards you and you're punching, you can keep them away because they don't want to get hit, right? Once the dog is already locked on, punching may not do anything because they don't want to release the hold. They don't want to lose it, okay? So if they're coming, which is there, she had a moment where they kind of gave her space. I'm now just like, get away, kicking, whatever, use your backpack. Which, technically speaking, if she would have used her backpack and they targeted her backpack, she could have then thrown the backpack. Most likely, they would have pursued the backpack because that's what they're chasing. That, and the moment, if she would have used it to try to keep them away, if a dog grabbed it and tried to bite it, now the dog's engaged with it. If I toss it, potentially the dog's redirect and go to the backpack. Potentially, okay? So then here, another thing that I saw, so she's being dragged away, she pivoted back, jujitsu'd on the child, trying to keep the dogs at bay. Oh, is they already fucking got you. You're already in the moment, right? Is instead of trying to just avoid, you might as well just start fighting. You're gonna get bit. You're getting bit regardless. So you might as well get bit while you're fighting, because when you're fighting, you're more likely to again send them away. Okay. So now dogs circle around. They're really wanting to get to that kid. You can see her flip flop on the ground. I mean, you can grab the flip flop, start smacking them. Again, just choke that dog out. This is very unfortunate. So now they've got her flipped over. Her child's exposed. Again, the brown dog's just kind of observing and barking, more so agitated than anything. The black dog is the definite aggressor here. So really looking at it this way, I focus on the black dog. Again, eliminate, that's the threat. That's the leader. Get rid of it. Once you get rid of it, the brown dog follows. It's really hard to see what's going on here, but it looks like the woman is tiring out, or she's overwhelmed. Brown dog now gets redirected, runs off. Woman looks to still have the black dog, or the black dog has her. It's hard to see. So, you know, somebody's got somebody. And now a guy comes in. Let's see what happens here. I did not watch this far earlier when I was reviewing this. It looks like the black dog, the guy grabbed the black dog. Again, brown dog is now just there really curious, sniffing. Right away, just de-escalates. You look at the tail was neutral, kind of mid-height there. And I think the woman is just starting to come to, just her, she's starting to realize threat is gone. And then she goes inside, right? That took way too long. That took way too long. Again, the brown dog comes back. The brown dog is de-escalated, right? Again, because the leader of this attack was the black dog. See, you can see the guy in the top right corner there. He's got the black dog by the collar. Everything now is as calm as can be. I believe this is the end of the video. All right, guys. So I hope we learned something here. Again, key lesson is always be aware of your environment. Your best bet is always project threat, be loud, be threatening, be scary. They don't want to interact with that. They don't want threats. They want easy target. Okay. If you can't do that, right? Or if you do it, let's say it doesn't work. Again, there was a truck right there within seconds. She would have saved herself 5 minutes of torment. And she just thrown her child in the truck, jumped in the truck herself. Okay. Be aware of your surroundings. I'm very much if I see threat, I confront threat. That's just me. I'm a dog trainer, you know, in this particular context. I have a much more quicker fight response. Most people's, you know, freeze flight. But even if you're not willing to fight the threat, in this particular case, like there was an immediate exit just by jumping into that truck, jumping on top of a vehicle. Even if I'm not saying the dogs can't jump on the vehicle either, but you have dogs with their four legs, like they're not going to be able to grip the car very well. You just kick them off, you know, and then you pay for a new paint job. But at least, you know, your child is safe, you're safe, you're not worried about getting bit. As you can see, as soon as they remove that black dog, like I said, you remove the threat, you address the leader, everything else just gets easier. The brown dog, right away, once the black dog was removed, de-escalated, and then was just more in a curious kind of like excited energy, but not still in that pursuit energy. So kudos to the guy, because he actually came in and he addressed the target. which was a wise decision. He grabbed the dog by the collar, pulled it away. After he did that, the brown dog de-escalated. The situation is now, it's been alleviated, allowing the woman to kind of come to and then go back into her home. Okay, I know this was a long one. I know this was a bit brutal, but this stuff does happen. So I'm Jesse with Canine Perspective. Thank you for watching.